Hi everybody, we are now joined by Dash head coach Sam Lady. Sam, just to start things off, overall thoughts heading back into regular season play.
Yeah, excited. Obviously, it was a bit of a down period with the international players being gone, and now we've got everybody back. Now it's obviously the intensity's gone up a little bit, the quality's gone up, the experience has gone up. So yeah, it's been a good week. Delighted to have everybody back.
Perfect. We'll open it up to questions. John Lupo, please go ahead.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Sam, it's been about 3.5 months, I believe, since you played Washington. So is there anything that you see is there anything you can go back that far to see from the highlights of that match, or have they changed a lot? What do you see when you watch Washington?
Yeah, good question. We played them in pre-season, and what they did in pre-season is how they played in pre-season was how they played against us when we played in Washington early in the season. They're still very much the same team. Obviously, when you're missing 5 or 6 international players, then the team's going to look different from a qualitative perspective. And they tweaked their shape a little bit. I think that was due to availability and injuries. So similar to what we had to do in that period. So yeah, I think we're going to see exactly the same Washington spirit that we saw early in pre-season, and the same Washington spirit that we saw at Audi Field back in I think it was May. Yeah.
Dustin, go ahead.
Hey Sam.
Dustin, how are you?
Good. Hey, players back from the World Cup. We've seen them in training this week. How are they getting back in, and do you expect all of them available this weekend?
Yeah, I think they're all happy to be back. We're happy to have them. Obviously, differing types of experiences between Michelle, Havana, and obviously the Canadian group. So yeah, it's been great to have them back. Good to have that quality, that leadership, a little bit of that experience. So yeah, it's the place has been good, been bubbly this week.
And you talked early in the season a lot about getting tactics and the games that were coming fast and often. It was hard to get that kind of that rhythm and getting them used to the style of play and everything. Capri said you guys have used so many different lineups. How do you feel like you guys are at this point in the season now, going towards the end of the regular season, trying to make the playoffs?
Well, I think we've got a couple of different options in our locker. Part of the rationale by playing those systems we did during the Challenge Cup, those 3 or 4 games, was to really have a look at a new system should we need it. Part of it was due to necessity, based on the player profile and the ability, and not the ability, but the profile of the player that we had available, especially in midfield, with either midfield players being injured or unavailable due to international duty. So yeah, we've had a good look. So we've got a couple of different identities, but what I expect to see now for going into this, we've got 7 finals really heading into this end of the season, and hopefully that will push us to additional games beyond that. And that's the drive, that's the want, that's the expectation, and that's what we're working towards.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks so much.
Are there any additional questions for? Go ahead, Manny.
Hey Sam, how's it going?
Very good, Manny. You?
Good. First question: how was your week off? How was it? Was it a good week off? Time to sit back and relax before the league play starts again?
Yeah, we didn't have a week off. We had a couple of days, but certainly wasn't a week. And yeah, there wasn't any relaxing going on. It was all about getting players prepared and ready for the Washington game. And this is the first hurdle we have. This is all our focus has been on what we're going to do against Washington. So yeah, no time off. Just working towards the goal of putting in a performance against Washington Spirit.
And with that, or the game in mind, I know you have a player now that wasn't available pre-World Cup, was Nichelle Prince. How do you see her coming back from the World Cup and her in training?
Well, I mean, she's a player that the team and the club have missed all season. I think she was a big catalyst last year for the success. Missing a player like that is can't be understated. A player of that experience and that value and that quality. Really good to see her at the World Cup. Get those minutes. So she's on a bit of a miraculous journey, really, from when she did her Achilles back in November. So tight turnaround, but credit to the medical staff here and the work that Michelle has put in off the field to get her in a position. So she's certainly not in a position to start yet, but she will be in the squad and be available this weekend.
And last question for me, a little bit of personal one. Will you be in tune for the final for the Women's World Cup for England?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I will be. Yeah. I've got Washington Spirit game first, and then everything after that will my mind will switch to Serena in England. Yeah.
Before we switch
All right,
back,
thank you, Sam.
Thanks.
we have Danielle Lerner here from the Houston Chronicle in the room for a few questions.
Okay.
I'm writing about Michelle Lozier and
Okay.
just wondered, how you've seen her grow in the short time that you've been here, and what did you know about her, I guess, before you got here?
Not a lot. I not a lot to be honest. I knew that she was a dynamic player with huge potential, but didn't know a lot about her. Obviously, when I got the job, I'd spend a little bit more time going through each member of the squad and looking at the qualities they had to start thinking about building the squad. But I knew she was a player with huge potential. She's a very dynamic player, a player that initially was pretty raw, so was going to be an opportunity for us to polish the diamond, shall we say. So still, it's like we all are, still a work in progress, but the World Cup experience will be great for her and great for us because she's coming back. Obviously her profile's increased, right, with that, and rightly so, but we have to remember that her profile increased because of her performance in the field, so that's what we'll be talking about, right? The profile will increase when the consistency is there in the quality of the field, so, and she's got the ability to do that, she's got the mindset to do that, so.
When you say polishing the diamond, what does that entail specifically for her?
Well, I mean, she's a young player, right? Specifically, there are just parts of the game to develop, right? I think she is playing at a high level right now, but I think the ceiling is enormous. So, reaching the ceiling, and then when she gets close, pushing the ceiling even further back. So, I'm not going to go into specific details about that because that's not the right thing to do. But she's a player of huge potential.
A lot of players have jobs outside of soccer that they're doing, but for her to be a research assistant in a lab and something that takes tremendous attention to detail and intelligence, how did she manage to compartmentalize that?
Oh, I don't know actually. Yeah, you should ask her. I don't know where the bandwidth comes from because good for her, right? I think part of it is also something that she's really intrigued and interested in, but I also think just her willingness to be in that field and help out in that industry is really important. It goes to show who she is as a person, I think.
Perfect. Jorge, you can get the last question and then we'll wrap up.
Hey, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good, and yourself?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
So, I just wanted to ask you, what do you believe needs to be worked on in order for the team to secure a spot in playoffs?
Well, we've got to be difficult to beat, first and foremost. Obviously he was in Seattle for 10, 11 years, and irrespective of the talent that they had, it was about being difficult to beat. So the first thing we have to do is be difficult to beat as a team, and then the quality will take over from there. But the first thing we have to do is be difficult to beat. This needs to be a very challenging place for teams to come, but we have to be difficult to beat, and that's the foundation of all success. And I'll be honest with you, not thinking about playoffs, to be quite honest with you, because playoffs is potentially one extra game, and our aspirations have to be higher than that. When we're not, and to be clear, we're not working this week. We won't be working for 7 months just to get an extra game in the season. Because for me, that's it will be successful, but our aspirations are higher than that. But what we're going to do now, what we're doing these next few weeks, is putting ourselves in a position where we can get to the playoffs on a regular basis, but then push on and be in a position where we're challenging for championships.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.